Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us on Food for Thought. This is Sunil Chandy. I am the priest and rector of Christ Episcopal Church in Westerly, Rhode Island, and this is a program out of Christ Episcopal Church called Food for Thought. Thank you for being with us today. If you are connecting with us, we're live today, and we have a wonderful guest who is going to grace us with wisdom and understanding as we talk about issues in the community and also issues in general in life. And so we thank you for your presence among us. We thank you for joining us today. And today in particular, we are going to be talking about a service that we in our church has spearheaded along with the Central Baptist Church and all of the other churches in the interfaith, the ecumenical fellowship that we have here at Christ in Westerly and Stonington. And it is a celebration, a service to celebrate and honor police, fire, and emergency service personnel of this community. And we started it about 6 years ago, and it has grown to be a regional event and includes many of the stations and firehouses and police stations in this southern part of Rhode Island and also parts of Connecticut as well. And so we thank you we'll talk to you a little bit about it. But if you are here, please do say hello, connect with us, tell us that you're here, tell us that you're watching, and especially as you listen to our guest, who is going to be pretty insightful in his pronouncements of wisdom to us. One of the reasons, we do this celebration to honor police, fire, and emergency service personnel, but we have a focus. Part of what's so important in the church tradition that I come from, and that the Episcopal Church, is that we usually have a focus for the service. And this focus is not just a service to celebrate our first responders, but it focuses us through two icons that we use. And the icons that we use, actually the icons who are members of the Christian community, and they are martyrs of the Christian community. The first is Saint Florian, and the other is Saint Michael. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Saint Florian. Saint Florian was an actual man, a soldier in the Roman army. And so let me read you his bio. Tradition holds that Saint Florian was a 3rd century officer in the Roman army, stationed in what is now called Austria. It is said that he once stopped a town from burning by throwing a single bucket of water on the blaze. In 304 AD, he was ordered to execute a group of Christians during the persecution of Diocletian, but he refused, admitting that he himself was a Christian. Saint Florian was scourged and flayed and had a stone tied around his neck and thrown into the river. His body was retrieved by a group of Christians, and he was buried at an Augustinian monastery near Lorch. His remains were moved to Roma in 1138 AD, and appropriately, Saint Florian is the patron saint of firefighters. And then also we have Saint Michael. Saint Michael is the archangel, and he's referred to in the Old Testament and has been part of the Christian teaching since the earliest of times. In Catholic writings and traditions, he acts as the defender of the church and the chief opponent of Satan, and assists souls at the hour of death. The name Michael means "who is like God," a rhetorical question. In Holy Scripture, Michael is one of 3 angels mentioned, Gabriel and Raphael in the book of Tobit. Raphael is mentioned in the book of Tobit. However, only Michael is called an archangel in the Bible. Michael is seen to be an angel of supreme power and a leader of God's army. Within the hierarchy of the angels at the highest level, Michael is a princely seraph. And Michael is considered to be the guardian of the Catholic Church, the Vatican City, the protector of Jewish people, Germany, France, Ukraine, Brussels, Kiev, Archelask, Argio, Cebu, and the Philippines. He's also the patron saint of police officers, the military, groceries, the mariners, paratroopers, and those who are sick. So these two icons are what we use as our focus during the service. Now, why do we use icons and saints to remember in these types of services? Well, they give us an example. They model for us how it is to act in a Christian way, in a way that is faithful and encouraging. And so St. Florian, the fact that he doused out a fire by a single pail of water. Of course, that's a little exaggeration, but there was a man named Florian, and he was part of the Christian church, and he was also part of the Roman army. And in a time when people were wondering, how does one act in a confusing time, especially when you have divided loyalties? Florian chose to sacrifice his life and help the people of God. And so we revere him. And so firefighters all over remember St. Florian. And when they go into blazing buildings, when they are going into danger, they remember the courage, or they look at the courage of St. Florian and they say that I too can face my fears and go into dangerous situations to help people. The other is Saint Michael. Michael is an angel, and so he is an angel of God, an emissary. He's a defender of the faith. And so, what more fitting person would we have to be the patron saint of police officers? Police officers who face danger and chaos on a day-to-day basis, and they need also to be encouraged to face those dangers. And so Michael is one that gives them an example of a person who defends for to protect and defend the people who can't protect themselves. Both these icons of faith help our firefighters and police officers and emergency service personnel. And for the emergency EMS folks, we usually remember angels in general because they become like angels out there helping and assisting people. These people don't have these first responders don't have an easy job. And yet we in our church and also the churches in this community lift them up because they do a job that many people choose not to do and cannot do. It takes a particular brand of person to do this type of work and ministry. By hallowing it, we say that it is sacred work. Now, that doesn't mean that sometimes things go wrong in situations, and we've had some controversies in our country, especially in police force and in all places of authority. But services like this help us to remember that people are called to this type of ministry and vocation, not because they usually want power or they want to lord it over people, but rather they want to serve people and help people, the people of God, the people of the world, humanity. Today we have a wonderful guest on board, and he is here, and he is the chief of police here at at Westerly. As Westerly, our community of Westerly. He is also he's transitioning now to be the town manager as well, Shawn Lacey. And he's a good friend of Christ Church and a good friend of ours in general. And Ben, please bring Shawn. Hi, Chief. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sunil. How are you?
I'm doing good. So wait, now I could call you Chief Shawn. I could call you Shawn. I could call you. But what about town manager? What do we do with town manager?
Yeah, you can call me any of the three. I guess it's fine. I have to respond to all three of them, right?
Okay, all right.
Depends what hat I have on.
That's right.
That's kind of how it works. So So you can address me any way you want. Shawn is even fine.
Oh, of course. Well, thank you. Shawn, you're extremely humble and a good friend. God bless you. And I think I love your leadership, and I know that it's been through this traumatic time with COVID-19, and you've done a lot in our community, and it's been really wonderful. What are some of the challenges you face even today?
Well, today, as we know, we were hoping this COVID crisis would be well beyond us, and it's certainly, as we learn every day, we're dealing with something different. It's not. I mean, we're still running. We just ran a clinic on Tuesday at the senior center for booster shots on the Pfizer side. So we're still running clinics. As you know, we were running 2-3 clinics a week back when people were first getting vaccinated. Then there was kind of a lull, and then now we're doing boosters. We ran a couple of the clinics last month in hopes to get more people vaccinated. So now we're off to the booster clinics. So now, starting beginning in November, we're going to start running booster clinics for the Moderna booster. As we know, the Pfizer booster is the one that was out first. That's the last couple of clinics we ran for Pfizer boosters. Now we're going to be going on to Moderna booster, and again, it's critical. You won't be able to register. We're going to check your registration when you come anyway. But if you've had the Pfizer shot, you can't get the Moderna booster. If you've had the Moderna shot, you can't get the Pfizer booster. And if you had the Johnson & Johnson shot, there's no foresight on when there is going to be a booster, but there will be at some point. And then we're running also. We have tentative dates in November because they're going to open up. It was anticipated by the end of last week. It didn't happen. So it's anticipated by the end of this week, the 5 to 11 age group, because we're doing everyone 12 years old and up. So now they're opening that window, 5 to 11 age group. The difference is the vaccination is a smaller dose, so we can't give that to adults. If we have extra shots, usually anyone can sign up. But that's going to be geared strictly to the 5 to 11, and we're going to do those at the middle school. We're going to set up the clinics at the middle school, as they have to have a parent there, and it'll be after school. And they can also, the 5 to 11 age group could go to their pediatrician. They could go to the local pharmacy. You could get it done. I mean, there's a variety of places you can go do it. We've seen some increased cases. There hasn't been. It's not as alarming as it was. They talked about this Delta variant.
Yeah.
We've been doing testing at the station Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week since beginning of June, and we're still currently doing it. It's actually it's a company that is subcontracted out to the state, but they're using our EOC room in the station, and so they've been doing it 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. It's 9 to 5, and then Saturday, Sunday, it's 9 to 1. You have to have an appointment to come in. So you have to go on and pre-register. You can go on the town website or the police department website, follow the links. You have to set up an account. Once you have an account set up, you could go every day if you wanted to be tested. It's no cost, no charge, no insurance required. And they'll do the rapid test or they'll do a PCR test. The PCR is the one that is more defined. It takes, upwards. It's usually about 24 to 48 hours to get results back. They've simplified it. So, I mean, all in all, it is still as crazy as it was, although we're kind of getting, it's amazing how quickly society gets used to changes. I'm intrigued by that, how quickly they get used to the new changes and whatever our new norm is going to end up being. And we all seem to adapt around whatever those changes are, which is a big plus to everyone, everyone in the community. So, I mean, the numbers overall are slightly starting to tick down, which is good. We'd love that to happen as we're getting into flu season. Everyone knows you can start getting flu shots and everything else. And if we can keep that on the downhill slide, events and everything, as we've seen through the fall around going, we've done the downtown shutdown thing on Sundays. We've had some races in town down on the beach. There's been walks. It's a hot walk and different events. There's stuff going on for Halloween. There's pumpkin runs. So we're in the middle of scheduling now, setting up this whole Halloween stroll downtown for the kids. It's going to be sponsored by the Business Association, the United Theater. So there's a lot going on, because we're encouraging the heck out of people to get out there and do things. I mean, fall's a beautiful time. The schools are traditioning to adapt to a test to stay, because normally if one kid tests positive, a student or a faculty member, then they do contact tracing. Anyone that's had tracing with them, or they're out for 10 days. Well, that 10 days of learning is, they found, as we all can imagine, has implications on a child, going to school, and it can have implications all around: social, mental health, teaching. I mean, it can. So they're trying to do a test to stay, that if you are exposed, that you can take a test 3 times a week and still remain in school. So it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, but we're getting through it. We have to stay positive. We got to guide people in the right direction, which we're hoping we're doing that correctly from our end. And and now we've added on the town manager interim side of things that I'm fulfilling. So I actually just ran from the town hall. I was at a meeting there, and I ran back to my office at the police station to come on to this meeting. Um,
Oh,
so
Shawn, I think, I love you help our community to move forward, which is exactly what, which is so needed for us. I mean, part of it is, we've all had this traumatic experience with the pandemic, and how do we come out of it? And my sense is, the reason why we're doing well in this community, I think, is because we have trust in leadership, trust in people like you, and our other elected leaders, and people who are not elected, who work in leadership, and that's so important. And I think, like, for me, why I like the trust, I have trust in you, is because you're open, you're humble, you're able to receive, different points of view, and you're able to kind of help us guide, because part of that listening is so important for you to guide us and to, as we move forward through this thing. Have you found in this pandemic, how are people responding to you?
people, well, like people, everyone's different.
Yeah.
And as we know, we could talk for 8 hours on this. I mean, the issues, it's political. There's no if and whether you want it to be or not. I mean, from my side, I stay out of the political side as much as you possibly can, just because the focus is on keeping the public safety side of the community, the first and foremost of our mission, and to let people know what their options are, give them the opportunities, whether the mask wearing and the not mask wearing, if you're in stores, restaurants, and whatever the rules are, and you have to respect everyone's position on it, which again we try to do. And I'm on different shows, a Saturday morning show with BLQ that I'm on, and we always encourage people, practice patience, be respectful of someone else's feelings around you. If someone else feels differently, takes a different position on it. We know there's a whole, position on whether, some people don't want to get vaccinated, they don't want to. And now the workplace is now dealing with, do you mandate the vaccinations? Do you not mandate them? We haven't done anything as far as mandating yet. But I found that's why I had mentioned, I'm amazed at how people adapt to the change. Some people are
Yeah.
very receptive. And keep in mind, my opinion, 99% of the people out there are good people. They want to do the right thing. They want to take direction. They want to go about living their life and make the adjustments they have to get by, to get through this. There's all kinds of opinions. If we do X, Y, Z, this is going to be the better way of doing it. Or if you do ABC, this is the better way of doing it. But we try to take all of those ABC and XYZ together and say, okay, let's kind of just guide it through, and we will get to the end of this. There's no doubt. I don't know what changes are going to be in place that are going to impact us moving forward down the road. I'm sure there will be some. There's no ifs and buts about it. There definitely will. I mean, some people, might feel, you might see people wearing masks long after the thing's gone, just because that's what they feel safer doing. And again, we all have to step back, and you have to respect that.
Yeah.
You have to respect that. I mean, we have the holidays coming up. We want people to spend time with their families. We want people to do things for the holidays, but we want them to be safe in doing that. So,
Yeah.
again, you're juggling both sides of the people in this group, which can definitely be very, very challenging. But again, from my standpoint, if you try to be compassionate to all sides and get them through it, at least they respect the position we take as we try. Because we're not picking any side. We're not telling you should do. We're guiding you on the direction we're getting from the state and federal side. Look, this is what we can offer you. This is what we have for you. And if you want testing, we can get it done. If you want to get vaccinated, we can get it done. You want booster shots, we can get it done. We will get you through this.
Yeah.
The direction you're looking to take.
Well, that's exactly what it is, and that builds the trust in our community. I know it already. Now, so I want to switch gears a little bit, because I do want to. So what you're talking about is the hard work that you public servants do. police, fire, and EMS. And so this coming Sunday, we're going to be remembering and honoring and celebrating your sacrifices. And it is hard work. I mean, just as much as people find it hard to live through the pandemic, I could just imagine how hard it is for you and the departments of police, fire, and EMS to kind of coordinate and help people, encourage them through this, and show leadership through this experience. This coming Sunday, we're doing that service at 4:00. Tell me how people in the police force and their families feel about this.
I think I think for their standpoint, they're open to it. It's a sign that there's people out there supporting us, praying for us. They're on our side. Although they're not with us on a daily basis as to what we're doing and how we're responding to COVID calls and how we're responding to mental health crises and substance abuse, and all this is on the rise, as a result of this whole pandemic. And but we feel as though, again, the whole entire clergy association is supporting us in our mission. And it is good. It's a tremendous feeling to the entire department, meaning Westerly, Stonington, all the EMS and fire side, to have people watching our back, to have people looking out for us, to have people supporting us. And we realize that that's what we get from the clergy association, and we get from different members of the community. You hear nationally that this defunding the police and this and all the rhetoric negative on the police side and so forth, and it's troublesome to listen to that. But I try to encourage the people here to take the bigger step and realize that, because I truly believe this. The majority of the people out there support what we do. They really do. They have our back. You're going to have a bad element in any profession you're in. Are there police, EMS, fire that make mistakes, that are wrong or on the wrong side of things, make us all look bad? That's always going to happen in any profession you're in. But for the most part, I say 99.9% of our profession are good people. We're here for the right reason, to provide public safety and a public service to people in the communities in which you work. And the same for EMS and fire. And I have to believe that the majority of the people out there are on our side, support us as well as, and we certainly welcome this. It's a tremendous welcoming thing from the whole community to have this service for us. That basically pay tribute and to the fact and the job that we do, and we look forward to it. I think it's wonderful.
I love that. I love hearing that, because I think and one thing that one group that we often forget is the family members. So this service that we're all a part of also lifts up your family members, the people, your wife, your kids, the wife and kids of police officers and firefighters and EMS, because at the end of the day, they live with the sacrifices you make too. And so it's so important. And this is, and this, but this is to those in our community who are watching. It's so important to support our public servants, because they're out there, and they sometimes feel alone. I know, because we've had in our parish, we've been graced to have several police officers and firefighters and EMS folks, and they are, they're good people. They're good people, and they have great families, and it's just important to support them.
I agree. I don't think we give enough recognition to the families. As my wife of 30 plus years will tell you that the impact it has on her, me out late at nights, meetings, and you're not home, getting called up in the middle of the night, you're going out to these horrific events and incidents and so forth, so that it has a major impact on your families. And I think it's tremendous that it's not only recognizing us as the first responders, but it's also paying tribute to our entire families, right down, like you said, your wife, your children, your entire extended family, because of course it's worrisome to everyone. And unfortunately, it isn't a day you don't turn on the news and you're reading something on a national or world level. There was police, fire, or whoever, unfortunately killed in the line of duty. There was an incident, there was an injury. And again, this is what we face. And again, the old theory that, when people are in danger and things are going on, the first responders are running towards the danger as everyone else is running away from the danger, which is what we want them to do. We don't want everyone running into the danger, but that's what we've kind of signed up for. So
yeah, yeah. No, and Shawn, you have a lovely wife, and you've got great kids, and you've done a really wonderful job in nurturing your family. And I pray for her all the time.
right, no, somebody needs to. Again, most of us don't give our families as much credit as we should, but it does have a tremendous impact on them too, as far as the jobs we do, by all means.
Yeah, definitely. And Shawn, you're such a good man, and I'm so glad that you're our leader and as a chief of police and now interim town manager. And so our prayers are always with you, and our doors are always open to whatever you need in terms of any help and support from Christchurch. But you have the same support, like you said before, from all of the clergy of our of our community.
And I certainly appreciate that. But the good thing is I know that too. I mean, if I need anything, I'll be the first to reach out and ask for something. Believe me when I tell you, I'm not shy about that.
I know. Well, so we'll see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday.
Yeah.
Nice day, beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Cooler fall-like day. We're looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, bagpipes, marching guard, the Westerly band leading us off. We have and an evening song at 5:00. The service starts at 4:00 at Central Baptist with blessing of fire engines and police vehicles and EMS vehicles, and then we process into Christ Episcopal Church to do an even song led by the choir here at Christ Church, and it's going to be a great.
Very, very exciting. I hope people come out. I realize we're in the middle of a pandemic still, and we weren't able to hold the service last year. We postponed it, and we kind of toyed it around a little bit this year. And this is why we're at the end of October doing it. We do it at the end of September. We kind of bounced a little further forward. And I do respect the fact if someone doesn't feel comfortable in attending, but we encourage everyone to get out there because it's usually a wonderful event.
And it'll also be, we'll also have it live streamed too. We'll have it live streamed also, right, for those who can.
We always say that's good, but it doesn't always count. We'd like to have people, but they can live stream.
That's right.
The theory, you don't have to go to church anymore if you can just live stream stuff from home. I mean, is this a new way we do it?
I love it. You are a good Catholic, and it's beautiful.
So,
Shawn, God bless you, and thank you for all that you do. And I'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you. See you now.
Right. Bye. He's Shawn Lacey, Chief Shawn Lacey of Westerly Police, and also the acting town manager of Westerly. And we thank God for leaders like him and Darren Stewart, his colleague as the chief of police in Stonington. And then of course all the various other chiefs, fire chiefs and EMS chiefs. We thank all of these first responders and for what they do in our community. Let's now end our time with one another in prayer. This is a prayer adapted from one written by Bishop Thomas Brown of Maine. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Jesus Christ, who traveled through towns and villages, curing every disease and illness, at your command, the sick were made well. Come to our aid now in the midst of the global spread of the coronavirus. Heal those who are sick with the virus. May they regain their strength and health through quality medical care. Heal us from our fear, which prevents nations from working together and neighbors from helping one another. Be present with those in authority who are making hard decisions. Support the medical professionals, emergency responders, counselors, and caregivers. We ask this all in your name, Jesus. Amen. Join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Friends, go in peace to love and serve God. Spread the light of Christ to the world around you. The world needs it right now.
Thanks for watching. Did you know that you can join Christ Church from anywhere in the world? If you're feeling connected to what we're doing, email us today at communicate@christchurchwesterly.org.